Part 12. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 111. Chapter 111 Yu Yinggu's request. Yu Yinggu calmed down and looked at the tall and calm Su Junming in front of her, feeling very satisfied. His left palm reached into the bag on his waist, took out a jade box and handed it over. I promised you that if you could gather the talisman seeds in your dantian within 3 days, I would give you 3 fairy apricots. Now that you have succeeded, they are yours. Su Junming felt somewhat conflicted. He knew very well that these 3 immortal apricots were just a pretext, and there must be other things waiting for him later. However, he really couldn't bear to give it back after taking it for 500 years. After all, materials suitable for cultivating natal magic weapons are rare, and if he is asked to look for them by himself, he may not be able to find them in a short time. The competition between the north and south sects of Changchun Valley, mission in Yandang Mountain is about to begin, and he does not want to wait any longer. And he really wanted the 3 immortal apricots. No one is perfect, and no gold is perfect. Su Junming's biggest problem is greed. He also knows that being too greedy is not good, but when he sees something good, he can't help but take it for himself, otherwise he will feel uncomfortable. Thank you Fairy Ant for the gift, my disciple is very grateful. After hesitating for a moment, he finally took it. Although there may be trouble later, he is confident that he has the special escape skill of Huishan Chenju. Unless the Jindan monk takes action, it will not be difficult to survive. Nodding with satisfaction, Yu Yinggu said. Your uncle and I are about to become a Taoist couple, so I'll call you nephew. Congratulations, Master Chen. Haha, we'll talk about congratulations later. Let's listen to your uncle Yu first. Chen Xiaofeng smiled and waved his hand. But looking at his mouth that almost cracked the back of his head, it was obvious that he was extremely happy. Master Nephew Su, you must also know that I am a casual cultivator. I was really lucky to be able to join Taoism back then. However, my understanding was not enough and I could not meet the requirements of that senior. I only obtained half of the Aoki Shangyu Ngong and a plant. Dongjin's top-grade spiritual root Bailing Xian Xing. Now I have practiced hard for half a year, and my cultivation has reached innate perfection. I urgently need the second half of the technique to help me take a step closer to the Kingmu Road, in the hope of breaking into the golden elixir in the future. Therefore, these years I have been looking for someone with high understanding. Disciple. It's a pity that my ability alone is limited after all. After many years of searching and accepting 3 apprentices, I still can't meet my requirements. In desperation, I revealed the truth to you, Master Chen, and asked for help. He saw that you had made rapid progress in refining weapons in just 2 months, so he recommended you to me. That's why today's trial happened. Facts have proved that your understanding is indeed shocking, and you can understand it in just 3 days. The Aoki Shangyu Ngong condenses the Aoki talisman in the dantian, which is amazing. Yu Yinggu sounded excited. Also, many years of anticipation have finally come to fruition, which would make anyone happy. Master Nephew Su, last time Master obtained the half-step Aoki Shangyu Ngong and Dongjin's high-grade Bailing Immortal Apricot in the Black Ming Valley. If you can pass the test of the masters in the valley this time, you will definitely succeed. Get a better treasure than my uncle. This is naked temptation, but Su Junming still does this. There is no young person who has just started practicing Buddhism who doesn't like the baby. As for concentration, if he could practice Taoism for a few years, he might have it. Now, it's still too far away. Uncle Master promises you that I only want the second half of the inheritance of the Aoki Shangyu Ngong. As for the other treasures, they are all yours. Uncle Master will never be greedy for a penny. What do you think? Are you willing to help Uncle Master? Master Nephew Su, if you are willing to help, my uncle is willing to teach you all my experience in practicing the Shenhua order for many years. Chen Xiaofeng also worked hard for his wife. Uncle Chen, my disciple has a good understanding, so do you think you can give me this practice experience now? He was going to go anyway, and he didn't intend to push out the benefits of having it delivered to his door. No problem. He took out a jade slip from his bag and handed it over. After taking it and taking a look at it, Su Junming was satisfied. Uncle Chen, when my disciple was refining his natal magical weapon, he was missing a piece of 300,000 refined red copper of the highest quality. I heard that you just collected one a few days ago. Do you think? Chen Xiaofeng's face turned black. This bastard actually took the opportunity to blackmail him. Small, I asked you to feed me dog food, I asked you to reveal my little secret for the sake of beauty, how dare you do it next time? Su Junming had a dark heart. Laughing wind. After hearing the Taoist companion's urging, Chen Xiaofeng gritted his teeth. I give. Thank you, uncle. Su Junming stretched out his right palm. Chen Xiaofeng took a breath, painfully took out a wooden box the size of an adult's palm, 4 inches thick and 5 inches wide, from the bag, and threw it over. He caught it, took off the sealing talisman on it and opened the box. Inside, a piece of 300 smelted red copper the size of a papaya, with a concave and convex surface and shining indigo light came into view. Enough. It sounded like the grinding of back molars, which made people feel numb in their hearts. Su Junming smiled and nodded. But he also knew that it could be done once, it could be done twice, but it could not be repeated. Greed should be limited, otherwise it will hurt your feelings. After putting away the copper block, Su Junming hugged it with both fists and bowed to salute. Disciple is willing to serve my uncle as a dog and a horse and obey my uncle's orders. A smile finally appeared on Gu Ying's face, and Chen Xiaofeng's tense face relaxed. Uncle Master, thank you. Uncle, you're welcome. I wonder when we will set off. I'll prepare for 2 days, and we'll set off on the 3rd day. Uncle Master, this King Mu Shangyu and Gong is profound, and the disciple is very interested in it. I wonder if I can stay here for 2 days and learn more about it. Su Junming nodded and said. He was afraid that without Yu Yinggu around, he would return to Dengzhen Pavilion and Chen Xiaofeng would put on his little shoes. No problem. I will ask Xiaoyu to clean up a room in the west wing for you, and you can live there. Thank you, uncle. Su Junming, senior brother Simu is really your master? Chen Xiaofeng said suddenly. Why did Uncle Master say this? Su Junming knew that he had guessed the reason why he stayed. It's unbelievable that someone as upright as senior brother Simu could have a cunning disciple like you. Su Junming smiled and said nothing. He had taken all the benefits, so he let others complain. Yu Yinggu didn't care at all. She drove Haerunju and guarded Dongjin's top-grade bailing immortal apricot. Although Dongjin's middle-grade treasures were precious, they were not as good as her own way. He took a copper bell from his waist and shook it. Xiaoyu, come here. Yes, master. A crisp sound came from the bell. It hasn't been long, and I have seen Lu Dihua's sweetheart, Miss Xiaoyu, hurriedly from Haerunju in front once or twice. Almond eyes quickly swept over the 3 of them. Xiaoyu has met Master, met Senior Uncle Chen, and met Senior Brother Su. Xiaoyu is my young disciple. You have met him too, so I won't introduce him. Xiaoyu, take your Senior Brother Su to the guest room. He will stay with us for 2 days. Yes, Senior Brother Su, please come with me. Su Junming nodded. Disciple, resign. After saluting Chen Xiaofeng and Yu Yinggu, he turned around and walked out. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 112. Chapter 112 10 Pure Yang Silks. Watching the 2 people leave, Yu Yinggu turned around with a smile and said, Are you still angry? He snorted coldly. This bastard is so blatant just because he thinks I won't reject him in front of you. It's just a few genuine materials. If you feel distressed, I will compensate you. I'm not feeling sorry for the material, I'm angry at this bastard's treachery. Really, I, Chen Xiaofeng, have never been the only one to blackmail others, and I've never been blackmailed by others. This time, an 80-year-old woman jumped to the point of being a child, and was taken advantage of by his little family. The bird pecked its eye, Chen Xiaofeng shouted angrily. This is called the Yangtze River's back wave pushing the front wave, and the front wave dies on the beach, he he. The Taoist couple's laughter made Chen Xiaofeng feel a little more depressed. Senior brother, I saw that Uncle Chen didn't look very good just now. Xiaoyu asked while opening the guest room door. Uncle Master has reached menopause and loses his temper easily. What is menopause? Seeing Xiaoyu looking like she was breaking the casserole and asking for the truth, Su Junming said casually, just like you women, your mood is unstable when you menstruate. Oh, senior brother, you are so bad. Xiaonazai's face instantly turned red, turned around and ran out. Looking at her retreating back, Su Junming had a question mark face, but he soon understood. In his last life, he was used to telling all kinds of dirty jokes to his female colleagues. What he said just now was not even a drop of rain. But that was a time when the world was declining, and I didn't sleep with many men or women, and I was embarrassed to say that I had been in love in my previous life. This is not the Republic of China era where having an affair was punishable by being thrown into a pig cage and where people were conservative. You have to be more careful in the future, otherwise it will be very embarrassing if you get slapped. Although he doesn't intend to fall into the cesspool of love, he also doesn't want to be labeled a disciple because of his negligence. What a pity for this wonderful era. There are so many beautiful and innocent young ladies. Shaking his head, he calmed down his complicated thoughts and briefly looked around the room. Close the door and sit down on the bed next to you. With a slap on the talisman bag, 49 sealing talismans flew out like arrows, sealing the entire room tightly in an instant. He put his hand into the magic bag and took out the 500-year-old Wenjade presented by Chen Xiaofeng. After playing with it in his hand, a white talisman with bright white light and sharpness like a sword emerged from his Beihui point. The Demon Slayer sword talisman that has advanced to the blue basic talisman stage is no longer a talisman seed, but a genuine talisman seal. As soon as the finger gesture changed, an illusory blue 3-foot-long sword flew out from the talisman. The sword energy was like flying lightning, and it instantly cut Wenyu in half. Chi-Chi was heard repeatedly, because the speed of the sword energy was so fast that dense blue sword energy threads appeared in mid-air like a bird's nest. Withdrawing the sword and slapping it, there was a bang, and Wenyu was completely reduced to pieces. The surging pure yang qi is like an angry tide, stirring up the wind and clouds. But it was quickly blocked by 49 sealing talismans. After all, the yellow talisman was not a real spiritual talisman. Under the strong impact of the thick yang energy, the spiritual light flew away, and it was about to lose its support. Su Junming shouted loudly. Certainly. A large seal-shaped spiritual talisman emerged from above his head, and white spiritual light spread out in circles. The pure yang energy enveloped by this spiritual light instantly solidified. Su Junming had sweat on his forehead, his face was solemn, and the seals in his hands were like wheels, with countless hand seals derived from them. At the same time as the spiritual light flickered, the immobilized yang qi was gradually eliminated by him. Wait until all the yang qi is stabilized before taking back the 6 towns talisman and the demon-slaying sword talisman. He breathed a sigh of relief. This time it lasted half a cup of tea. The mana in the middle stage of Xiantian is indeed much better than that in the early stage. With his current magic power, it is too difficult to use the natal talisman seal that can only be used freely in the golden elixir stage. Seeing the pure yang energy as thick as mercury that exploded after the 500-year-old Wenyu was shattered by him, Su Junming took a deep breath. After adjusting the breath for a moment, with a pull of the left hand, strands of pure yang energy flew out. With the right hand, the hand seals were filled with pure yang energy, the runes were derived, and a thin golden thread gradually condensed and formed. After the pure yang energy in the room was exhausted, 3 pale golden filaments 3 feet and 3 inches long and as thick as hair were condensed in his hands. He nodded with satisfaction and opened the jade box next to him. There were 7 similar filaments inside. In the past 2 months, after refining treasures for customers of Dengzhen Pavilion, he used the remaining materials to use brocade weaving techniques to create these 7 top-quality pure yang silk threads. Putting the 3 newly refined pure yang silk pieces in, Su Junming sighed slightly. It took enough materials to refine 4 or 5 natal treasures of Dongzhen's middle-grade pure yang treasure, and then these 10 Dongzhen's best pure yang silks were made. He didn't know how much time it would take to collect the 360 sticks he wanted. Moreover, he has completed all the orders accumulated by Dengzhen Pavilion recently for cultivating pure yang magic weapons. If you want to quickly practice the best pure yang silk, you have to work hard. However, it took half a century to practice a top-quality magic weapon, and the cucumbers and vegetables were already cold. After thinking for a moment, he took out the yin swallowing pot from the bag of magic. After more than 2 months of continuous refining, he no longer needed the suppression of the 2 corpse-binding ropes, the demon-suppressing golden lock and the 6 towns talisman. His consciousness was immersed in the yin swallowing jar. In the small space, a female ghost with deep resentment and black face, but a hint of golden luxury between her eyebrows, floated quietly in the center. Surrounding her were 7 vicious little devils. As if aware of Su Junming's consciousness, the female ghost suddenly opened her eyes, with endless ferocity in her pure white eyes. The purple-black mouth opened in an exaggerated arc that seemed to pull the entire jaw off, which was horrifying. G. The ear-piercing ghost howl came straight towards the consciousness. GG. The little ghosts also roared and flew like lightning, heading straight towards Su Junming's consciousness. But before they could get closer, a layer of light black transparent light blocked them tightly inside. No matter how hard they struggled, it was difficult to break through the blockade of the photo mask. When the female ghost saw this, she screamed loudly, and with a strong resentment, she bumped into him like lightning. With a bang, the light shield trembled violently. Su Junming's expression was solemn, and as he input his magic power, the light black light shield radiated brightly, sealing 1 large, 7 small, and 8 fierce ghosts inside. After about a quarter of an hour, the impact weakened. Su Junming took back his magic power and sighed lightly. In another 2 or 3 months, he will be able to use up the ghost energy of the mother, 7 sons, and 8 fierce ghosts to complete this meritorious deed. However, he had other considerations regarding the yin swallowing jar. After preliminary training, it was discovered that although this jar was a top-quality magic weapon that fulfilled the 12 treasure bands, it corresponded to the way of poison, not the way of ban he had thought before. The ban is more of an auxiliary thing, and the poison path is the foundation. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 113. Chapter 113, A Wooden Cow and a Stray Horse. In addition, the material for practicing the yin swallowing jar is the 3 miasma yin mud, which is a spiritual material formed from the swampy land of southern Xinjiang for thousands of years of miasma, yin, and earth energy. It is most suitable for practicing poison. A tribute weapon. Such a treasure is not suitable for Su Junming. So selling it and replacing it with materials is the best option. Although it is a pity to sell a top-quality magic weapon, no matter whether you practice it again or keep it, you will not be able to maximize its value. If I can exchange it for 350 top-grade pure male threads, it will be worth it. And I can get rid of this big trouble. Su Junming had a headache when he thought of those Gu masters in Chiyu Cave with weird methods. He didn't want to provoke him unless necessary. However, the best treasure material, and it is also a pure Yang treasure material, not to mention rare, but not much different. I'm afraid it's not easy to get something you're satisfied with. More importantly, this thing is the treasure of Chiyu Cave. Most casual cultivators don't dare to ask for it because they are afraid of trouble. There are almost no people who practice the poisonous path among the righteous path. If you go to auction, you might be afraid that Chudong will take advantage of it and lower the price. If it is dedicated to the sect, I wonder if there will be a reward. Just when he was hesitating, he suddenly realized that someone had touched the seal in the room. He quickly put the yin swallowing jar into his magic bag, took back the sealing talisman, opened the door, and a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. I've met Master Yu. Wearing a different black sword outfit than usual, with long hair tied back with a gold ring, Yu Yinggu, who looked extremely capable, was standing outside the door. 3 days have passed, we will set off immediately. Do you have anything else to prepare? Shaking his head, Su Junming took all the important things with him. Master Uncle Chen, I wonder if you can tell me. I've already told him. As he said that, he threw a spiritual talisman that was flashing with blue light, 1 foot long and 3 inches wide. The Phantom Talisman of Longhu Mountain. As a disciple of the Fuzhuan sect, Su Junming knew almost everything about the talismans inherited from the various sects of the Three Mountains Fuzhuan sect. There is a phantom Taoist method in Longhu Mountain that is rare in the world of cultivation. It is called Phantom True Technique. It can confuse people's 5 senses in the innate stage and kill people invisible. It is very powerful. At the Golden Elixir stage, in addition to confusing the 5 senses, you can also change your body shape. Unless you have Dharma eyes, it will be difficult to distinguish between true and false. Because the illusion technique is difficult to cultivate, there are even fewer cultivators who can practice the Phantom True art to the Golden Elixir realm. Therefore, Su Junming had only heard of the Blue Phantom Talisman, but this was the first time he had seen it. This is too arrogant, you only get 2 blue talismans, Su Junming thought to himself. The blue talisman entrusts the monk's understanding of the Tao. Although it cannot increase the power of Taoism like a magic weapon, a talisman is equivalent to 1 shot by a monk in the Golden Elixir stage and is valuable. You are very knowledgeable, take it. Thank you, uncle, for the generous gift. Seeing that he took it and put it into his pocket as a matter of course, Yu Yinggu smiled and shook her head. She had known for a long time that this man was greedy for money, so she didn't expect him to get it back after using it up. However, since I have Dongjin's top-grade Bailing Immortal Apricot, I have no shortage of training resources, and nothing is as important as inheriting the Taoism. As long as I can get the second half of the Aoki Shangyu Gong, I will give up this Phantom Talisman. As soon as Yu Yinggu pressed the Phantom Spirit Talisman, a light blue spiritual light enveloped her whole body. In an instant, a beautiful woman like a flower was replaced by an ordinary middle-aged man wearing linen clothes. You also change your body shape. Su Junming nodded, inputting his mana into the talisman, a spiritual light enveloped him, and his image changed instantly. Yu Yinggu frowned. No, it's too handsome and irritating. Change it again. I haven't become a handsome guy in my whole life, but now I finally have a chance to have fun, but it still doesn't work. Su Junming changed again. Yu Yinggu was still not satisfied. In his previous life, he liked Crazy Stone, especially the island city black skin in it. This is good. Although it's ugly, it's not out of the ordinary. That's it, Yu Yinggu nodded with satisfaction, follow me. The two of them walked out of Heian residence through the back door where Chen Xiaofeng came in last time. When we came outside, on the streets that were already sparsely populated, it was dark and almost no one could be seen. Walking to the backyard of Deng Zhen Pavilion, Yu Yinggu stopped for a moment, took out a paper crane from the magic bag, and after inputting the magic power, the surface of the paper crane glowed with spiritual light, flapped its wings, flew up, and disappeared into Deng Zhen Pavilion. Let's go. Master Uncle, why don't you go in and say goodbye to Master Chen? I've said everything I need to say in advance. The rest can be said when I get back. Let's go. In this case, Su Junming didn't say anything more. The two of them walked one behind the other to the archway leading into and out of Fang City. They turned counterclockwise 3 times and appeared on the bluestone square outside. When they opened the wooden door, they saw the Megyu Mountain Immortal Temple outside. It was nighttime now, and apart from the sounds of birds and animals, there was no sign of anyone. The two of them had great cultivation skills, so even without the use of Taoism, they could go down the mountain very fast. In less than a quarter of an hour, we arrived at the foot of the mountain. Yu Yinggu patted the magic bag and took out 2 palm-sized wooden horses from it. When the magic power was activated, the wooden horses shined brightly, and 2 horses over 10 feet long and nearly 2 meters high at the shoulders appeared on the spot. They shook their heads and tails and neighed. A tall horse. If you don't walk in, you won't know that they are just wooden horses and not real horses. Gongsha faction's wooden cows and horses. Su Junming blurted out. As the leader of the suppressing faction, the most famous treasure of the Gongsha faction is the wooden cow and flowing horse. The wooden ox travels 800, the wandering horse travels 2000, almost everyone in the spiritual world knows this. The wooden ox made by the Gongsha faction can carry 800 stones, and the stray horse can travel 2000 miles a day. The wooden ox and flowing horse are mid-grade magical artifacts, but they are difficult to make and are often worth more than ordinary mid-grade magical artifacts. Get on the horse and follow me. We will arrive at Chenangjia in 1 day. Yu Yinggu jumped on the horse and said from behind. Su Junming nodded and quickly jumped up. The buttocks are not as hard as expected, but are extremely soft. Grab the reins with both hands, and just input mana into the reins. According to Yu Yinggu's instructions, Su Junming input mana. Sitting down, the flowing horse neighed and rushed forward like lightning. The speed is so fast that it is not much different from driving on a provincial highway. Moreover, there is no bumpy ride, even if the wind is strong, it will be no problem if you use magic to block it. Seeing him leave, Yu Yinggu urged him to sit down on his horse and chased after him. Seeing her gradually surpassing him, Su Junming quickly understood. The more mana is input into this thing, the faster it runs. Follow me, don't run around. If you take advantage of others, you must be obedient. Su Junming suppressed the idea in his heart to gallop and test his limits, and disappeared at the end of the road with Yu Yinggu. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 114. Chapter 114, The Weird Dark Valley. According to legend, in ancient times, the Emperor Sheneng of the earth tasted hundreds of herbs and led his people to a high mountain. Seeing that the mountains here are steep and the forests are everywhere, I thought there must be a hidden secret of strange medicine. He first taught the people to build trees into houses to avoid danger, then he taught people to build trees into ladders to help climbers. He collected 400 kinds of good medicines and wrote Shennong's Materia Medica. In order to return his mission to the Emperor of Heaven, he built a tree into an altar and flew into the sky astride a crane. Later generations remembered the kindness of their ancestors and called this high mountain Chenangjia. Su Junming didn't know whether the legend was true or not. Anyway, this is the first time in his life that he has come here. But not to mention, compared to Luofu Mountain, the main altar of Mission Nanzong, Chenangjia is a chain of mountains, extremely steep, with dangerous cliffs densely covered with strange rocks, and rare pines, flowers, and trees, which gives it a unique flavor. When the mountain became steeper and it was no longer possible to ride a horse, Yu Yinggu turned over and stretched out her hand. Su Junming's buttocks flew away and he fell to the ground. "Follow me, we're almost there." Su Junming nodded and touched his butt. Pity. He also wants tools such as wooden ox and flowing horse. But this thing was too precious, and he was embarrassed to speak without getting the remaining half of Aoki Shogen Kung. The two of them were like lightning, meandering forward on the rugged mountain road. After about an hour, they reached the depths of Shenangjia. Climbing up and reaching a cliff, Yu Yinggu suddenly stopped. "This is it." Su Junming stopped and took a look. In front of him was a large valley that was approximately circular and nearly 3 kilometers in diameter. There was a faint black mist filling the Tiankang. Even if the sky was bright and standing on the top of the valley, it was impossible to see clearly what was going on inside. Even if Su Junming used the celestial eye talisman, it seemed like something was blocking his sight. "This is the Black Hades Valley." Yu Yinggu nodded excitedly. "I was chased by the enemy and hid in this valley out of desperation. As a result, I got the inheritance by chance. However, my qualifications are limited. I only have half step of the Aoki Shangyuan Gong and the top grade Dongzhan White Spirit Apricot." After Su Junming nodded, "What is the origin of this black fog in the valley? It seems to be able to block sight." "I don't know what this black mist is. But it can not only block sight, but also block spiritual consciousness, and it is extremely cold. The place where I fell was not far from the inheritance place, and there was another magic weapon to protect me. Fortunately, I didn't die inside. So, when you get down from here, be sure not to wander around. Otherwise, if something happens, I won't be able to save you." Yu Yinggu took out a bundle of ropes from the bag of magic. This 1,000-foot rope is made of green silk hemp mixed with long snake grass. Although it is only a low-grade magic weapon with 2 restrictions, it is enough to help you reach the bottom of the cliff 500 feet deep. "This valley is 500 feet deep?" Su Junming asked in surprise. "1 foot is 3.3 meters, and 500 feet is more than 1,500 meters. This depth is really amazing." "Good." After nodding, Yu Yinggu handed over the 1,000-foot rope. "Uncle Master, won't you go down?" "No. There are very strict restrictions on that inheritance place. Only those who pass the test can enter. I'm not as qualified as you. I can't enter the second level. Following it is just a waste of energy." Su Junming took a deep breath and took the 1,000-foot rope. "Since you took someone else's things in the front, you have to do things for them later. Although the Black Ming Valley does not look like a good place, as of now, it is the only option left." Yu Yinggu took out a black iron nail more than 3 feet long, and with the help of magic power, it was embedded deeply into the rock. "Tie a 1,000-foot rope to this black iron nail so that you can use it when you go down." Su Junming nodded, activated his magic power, and briefly practiced the 1,000-foot rope. With a flick of his right hand, a rope about the thickness of a child's finger flew out like a snake, circled around the iron nail, and tied into a tight knot. After tugging, it felt like there was no problem. "Uncle Master, the disciple is going down." "Wait a minute, there is a 1-foot-tall stone statue at the entrance of the cave. Don't admit it. Also, there will be texts to guide you inside. Don't make your own decisions. Otherwise, if you fall into the forbidden area, you will be in danger of life and death." Seeing how solemn she said it, Su Junming also remembered it firmly in his heart. "Junming, please. When the success is achieved, my uncle will still be grateful." "Uncle, don't worry, my disciple will be successful soon." As soon as he finished speaking, he jumped like a falling meteor and quickly disappeared into the thick black mist of the valley. "It must succeed." Yu Ying murmured to herself. She, who was already innately perfect, now became worried about gains and losses. The strong wind howled in his ears. Su Junming frowned slightly and looked around with his eyes. After arriving in the valley, he discovered that the black mist was stranger than he imagined. In addition to what Yu Ying said, it blocks the line of sight, blocks the consciousness, and is extremely cold. It also contains a strange power that can confuse the mind. It's just that this power is relatively weak. If he hadn't practiced the way of the soul and his soul was very sensitive, he wouldn't have been able to detect it. Try a bronze mirror. His heart moved, and the mirror image appeared in his pupils. The sight that could only be clearly seen 3 feet in front of me suddenly expanded to 10 feet, and shadows could be seen within 30 feet. Su Junming breathed a sigh of relief. At least the bronze mirror's ability is not limited by this black mist. Time passed little by little, and gradually the bottom could be seen. Although the strange black mist was extremely cold, there was no ice in the valley. It's just that there are rocks everywhere and no life in sight. After descending another 10 feet, a large black hole appeared in his eyes. Before Su Junming could take a closer look, a strong danger signal struck his mind like lightning. Having had such an experience before, he did not hesitate. He activated the Hu Tian Shen technique, took a step forward, and his figure disappeared instantly. Boom! The air exploded. Su Junming looked back. His scalp was numb, and a tongue nearly 2 feet wide, half a man thick, and covered with barbs appeared in his original place. The strong fishy smell is disgusting. This giant tongue protruded from a giant cave with a diameter of more than 20 feet at the bottom of the valley. Su Junming did not know how long it was. But the size of the monster among them is definitely comparable to that of Xiashantu. Seeing the tongue retracting with a swish, Su Junming didn't care to look anymore and ran away quickly. No matter what kind of monster is behind that tongue, judging from its size, it is definitely not something he can afford to mess with. Running is the wisest choice. Without the 1,000-foot rope, he quickly took out the rope to bind the body, grabbed the protruding rock on the cliff, and fixed his body. After looking around and finding no other dangers, he breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, deep doubts arose in my heart. Am I being cheated? He doubted that Yu Ying really went down to the bottom of the mountain from where she was just now. He shook his head. Looking at her like that, it didn't look like she was lying. Moreover, he is a minor cultivator in the middle stage of congenital life. What is worthy of Yingwu, a cultivator with a congenital perfection, and Chen Xiaofeng, a cultivator in the late congenital stage, close to consummation, joining forces to deceive him? He shook his head, and now that he was down, there was no point in thinking about it anymore. I looked around at the black mist, and then at my feet. I saw that the bottom of the valley was about 10 feet away. Su Junming swung the rope that tied the body, grabbed the rock wall, and about 10 feet down, a kite turned over and landed lightly behind a boulder. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 115. Chapter 115 Xianqing Spirit Snake. This is a place full of rocks. Apart from the black and hard stones, there is almost no life at all. Su Junming sensed carefully and found no other danger before walking towards the valley. When I ran away just now, I had already lost my way. Because he didn't see the stone statue, he was not sure whether the cave where the big monster was hidden just now was the place of inheritance that Yu Ying said. If so, he turns around and leaves. Such a monster is simply beyond his ability to deal with. In order to avoid encountering monsters like before, Su Junming walked very slowly. About 200 meters later, a faint fluorescent light suddenly appeared in front of my eyes. In a crisis-ridden environment, any anomaly represents a possible danger. After hesitating for a moment, Anan couldn't help his curiosity and walked over slowly, relying on his ability to perform the magic of Hu Tian Shen. Gradually, A tall tree with a height of 2 feet, as thick as a bowl, with stems and branches, but no leaves, and shining with a faint blue light appeared in the eyes. There is not one big tree like this, but hundreds of them in a row, like a forest. A tree that lights up. This was the first time he had seen such a strange tree. After slowly walking forward for more than 10 meters, Su Junming's expression changed drastically, and he retracted his foot that was about to step out as fast as lightning. With the help of the bronze mirror, every detail can be seen within 10 feet, but beyond 10 feet, only a shadow can be seen within 30 feet. Just now, the big tree glowing in his eyes was not a tree glowing at all, but countless compound eyes like flies, with sharp and thick jaws, 6 legs under the abdomen, 2 pairs of wings, shrouded in blue light, about the size of a fingertip, such a big cold flame bug. The cold flame bug is not poisonous, and its body is not hard, but it is a spiritual insect of the highest quality. The blue light on it is not light, but the cold fireworks it carries. Cold fireworks are a kind of yin fire that burns to the touch of ordinary people. It is not a big deal for a cultivator who has entered the innate world to have magic power to protect his body. But these are only 2 or 3 cold flame bugs. If the number reaches 100, let alone ordinary innates, even perfect innates will not be able to handle them. Looking at the scale of this place, it must be at least tens of thousands. If they really want to come up all at once, Jin Dan can't hold them back. Su Junming broke into a cold sweat and was glad that he had not been reckless before. Just when he was about to leave quietly, his footsteps suddenly stopped. A bunch of pale golden grass growing under the tree, about the width of an adult's thumb, comes into view. Dianko. His golden lock for subduing demons is made from 300 years of earthly yang grass, and he is very familiar with this kind of pure yang grass. However, compared to his demon-suppressing golden lock, the Diang grass here is 1 foot and 6 inches taller. According to the habit of Diang grass growing 1 inch every 60 years, the Diang grass here has grown for more than 900 years. If it takes 900 years, it will be Dongjin's top-grade spiritual material. If it takes 1,000 years, it will be Dongsuan's low-grade spiritual material. Dongxian-level spiritual materials can be used to cultivate spiritual weapons. Is all things in peace and harmony, the yin and yang are born, it is indeed true. Looking at the strange tree where hundreds of cold flame bugs live, there are at least 20 or 30 bunches of Dianko with more than 100 roots. It would be a lie to say that I am not attracted by it. If he had them, he would have all the pure yang materials he needed to practice his natal magic weapon. Save yourself the countless hard work of practicing pure yang silk. But, after gritting his teeth, Su Junming stepped back reluctantly. Although the things are good, those 10,000 cold flame bugs are a big trouble. Once provoked, the consequences are unpredictable. In this dangerous place, it is better to stay calm. Leaving the place where the Lenjian bug was, Su Junming no longer walked in the middle, but moved forward close to the cliff. As long as the cave Yu Yinggu said was really there, he would be able to find it. It's just that this method is a bit clumsy. Just be stupid, this place is too dangerous. Sudden. A trace of watery smell, mixed with the stench of rotting dead branches and leaves, entered the mouth and nose. Is there a swamp ahead? Walk 10 feet forward. Sure enough, a swamp appeared in front of our eyes. Because of the black fog, we couldn't see how big it was. Hearing the sound of marsh gas bursting through blisters, and looking at the water surface covered with black mud covered by withered yellow weeds, Su Junming felt hesitant in his heart. If you choose to bypass it, it will take more time and there is a risk of getting lost. If you walk close to the rock wall and go deep into the swamp, you may encounter danger. Forget it. It's better to find something and leave this damn place as soon as possible. He took out the rope for tying the body, pointed at a protruding rock above, raised his hand, and after grabbing the rock with the flying lock, Su Junming activated his magic power and flew up. The 5 fingers turned into claws, clinging tightly to the rock wall, and then moved up 10 feet, and then moved forward against the rock wall as if on a swing. In fact, Hu Tianxian is more efficient in performing magic than he is. But the space method consumes mana. In such a dangerous place, it is better to reserve mana to deal with unknown dangers. Anyway, he is not in a hurry now. The scenery below was the same, except for a swamp. It was still a swamp. Huh. Suddenly a black rock appeared in the swamp ahead. This rock juts out of the swamp, like a hill, and is somewhat incompatible with the surrounding swamp. But the distance was too far, and he could only see a shadow, unable to see anything specific. But a faint sense of danger lingering in his mind made him hesitate. But now that we are here, there is no road in the swamp, so we can only bite the bullet and move forward. After 2 more swings, a thick aura of armor would suddenly envelop his whole body, making his somewhat depressed emotions feel a little more relaxed. Is there a spiritual route in front? This familiar feeling made his eyes light up. This is how I felt when I saw the top-grade bailing fairy apricot in Yu Yinggu's backyard. Swing forward 2 more times. Sure enough, an old apricot tree with a fluffy crown growing on a huge rock protruding from the rock wall, 3 feet high, appeared in front of my eyes. The tree trunk is slightly curved, and the branches are coiled like a horned dragon, with a vigorous ancient meaning. The leaves are green, like emeralds. Su Junming was curious, and with a movement of Hu Tianxian's magic, he instantly crossed the distance of 20 feet and came to the foot of the tree. This is Dongjin's top-quality bailing immortal apricot. This is really unexpected. Ordinarily, in a place with beautiful mountains and rivers, it would be great to be able to give birth to a single spiritual root. But including Yu Yinggu's plant, 2 plants have been born here, and they are both bailing immortal apricot, and the one in front of me is the best. Su Junming silently sensed it, and other than the thick and pulpy Jiamu spiritual energy, he did not feel that the spiritual energy in this valley was richer than the outside world. Hiss. With a slightly childish neighing sound, a black-green snake, about 3 feet long, with 2 wings on its back and a single horn on its head, slid down from the canopy of the tree. This snake does not have the common triangular head, but is extremely round and looks a bit silly. This is the sky-green spirit snake. Su Junming's eyes lit up. It is rumored that the sky-green spirit snake is the descendant of the upper Cuba snake and the winged snake. Its body can be large or small, and it has no ability to fly. It has an empty sac in its body, which generates infinite space. It can carry things dozens or even hundreds of times larger than the sky-green spirit snake. At the same time, he can also control wind spiritual power like the ancient winged snake. Such spiritual beasts are also the protective spiritual beasts that monks long for. It would not be a bad idea if you raise one and come to the home to take care of it in the future. But before he could take action, a huge danger suddenly rose from behind. He had already felt that overwhelming feeling once today. Still without hesitation, Hu Tianxian performed his magic. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 116. Chapter 116 Big Toad. No spiritual beast or spiritual root is as important as one's own life. Su Junming was alert enough, and Hu Tianxian's magic made him reach 80 meters away in an instant. As his understanding of Hu Tian's magic talismans progressed further, the distance covered by Hu Tian's magic also became further. He grabbed the rock wall and looked back. He saw a giant black snake as thick as a water tank, with its upper body raised high, a green snake head, and giant blue wings that were more than 3 feet long. It was extremely ferocious. The amber vertical pupils stared at him closely. Su Junming could clearly sense the ferocity inside, even if it was blocked by the black mist. The sky-green spirit snake of the golden core stage. Cold sweat broke out on Su Junming's back. What the hell is this place? Just for a moment, there are 2 golden elixir stage monsters. There are also those 10,000 cold flame bugs. Before the thought came to an end, he saw the empty green spirit snake opening its mouth. Damn! Don't dare to be negligent. The god of the pot god performs the magic and applies oil to the soles of the feet. Boom! There was an explosion in the air, and air currents within 100 meters in radius roared and flew into the giant mouth of the sky-green spirit snake. Su Junming no longer dared to look back and used his magic power to run away. Monsters protect their young the most. He almost caught the small sky-green spirit snake, but it was strange that the big one let him go. Shua! The sound of flapping wings sounded, and Su Junming looked back, and instantly the souls of the dead appeared. The golden elixir space green spirit snake chased after it like a bomber. Not caring about the danger in the valley, Su Junming bumped around like a headless fly. He didn't dare to walk close to the cliff. The wings of the sky green spirit snake were so fast that he had no time to discern the direction. If he bumped into the cliff, it would be great fun. Su Junming was running like a wolf and a pig was running, and he was anxious in his heart. Suddenly, a huge blurry black hole appeared in front of him. The huge cave seemed vaguely familiar. When the fishy smell entered his nose, Su Junming reacted immediately. This is clearly the place where he was in danger after descending from the cliff. Thinking of that huge tongue, and then looking at the Kongqing spirit snake chasing after him, he gritted his teeth. Fight! He took out the purple sun lamp and activated his magic power. Shangqing clan method, fire technique. A fireball with a diameter of 1 foot flew into the cave as fast as a meteor. Su Junming avoided the front and fled to the left at a 45-degree angle. With a boom, the fireball exploded. Qua! The earth-shattering frog roar rang in my ears. The surging sound waves pushed away the clouds, as if a violent wave swept through the cave. In an instant, there was flying sand and rocks, and the surroundings were in a mess. Clinging to the wall of the cave, Su Junming felt the strong wind roaring in his ears, making it difficult to control himself. However, after seeing the empty green spirit snake stop, he couldn't help but secretly breathe a sigh of relief. Call! Amidst the turbulence of the air, a bolt of cyan lightning flew out of the hole. Boom! When the lightning hit the ground shook instantly, like an earthquake. My dear, such a big toad! Su Junming was amazed in his heart. One head is 2 feet tall, the body is nearly 5 feet long, and there are hundreds of blue sarcomas on its back, like a giant toad like a hill. Quack! 2 frogs croaked, deafening, and at the same time, dazzling blue-white arcs of electricity shot out from the sarcoma on the back. Roar! The sky-blue spiritual snake retracted its wings, coiled up the snake formation after landing, and opened its mouth to roar. At the same time, a blue hurricane appeared out of nowhere and surrounded it. Anyone swept by this hurricane, whether it was dead branches or leaves or rocks on the ground, would be ground into powder without any sound. Crack! Thunder and thunder exploded, and dozens of thunderbolts as thick as water tanks floated from the back of the giant frog. The surging thunder was like a cannonball being discharged, and with a bang, it hit the hurricane. It was like a thunderbolt from the blue, deafening. The dazzling light almost dispelled the black fog within 100 meters. Scattered thunderbolts and broken wind blades caused chaos within a dozen feet around. Boom! A huge sound broke through the air, and a black snake tail as thick as a courtyard pillar swept over like lightning. It was obviously not the first time that the giant frog had fought against the sky-green spirit snake. He stretched out his long and thick limbs, and his huge body soared into the air like lightning, spanning dozens of feet, and fell to the ground with a bang. The earth trembled, rocks penetrated the air, and countless dust flew up, as if a sandstorm rose out of thin air. Qua. The frog's mouth opened, and a thunder ball with a diameter of more than 3 feet was directed at the sky-green spirit snake. The power of this thunder ball was obviously much stronger than the previous thunder. The sky-blue spirit snake was instantly knocked back more than 10 feet, and it crushed countless hard black stones after landing on the ground. The giant frog obviously understood the truth of killing it while it was sick, as thunderballs flew towards it like lightning. The sky-green spirit snake is not a fish ready to be slaughtered. It opens its huge mouth and light green wind pillars swarm out like a tornado. Quack. Roar. Seeing the two giant beasts roaring and fighting together in front of him, Su Junming was shocked. This earth-shattering battle completely subverted his previous imagination of Jindan-level monsters. With his huge body, he had to use all his strength to receive a random blow. If he were hit by the thunder ball and wind pillar, he would definitely be blasted to pieces. Until this moment, he was deeply grateful that his previous caution was so wise. He is no longer able to participate in such a battle. Even if he picks up the leak, his life will be in danger, and a wise man will not do it. The plan has been decided and we are about to leave. Suddenly, he discovered a human-shaped black shadow among the rocks nearby. With a thought in my heart, I went over to take a look, only to realize that it was a statue of a person 10 feet tall. The whole body of the figure is carved from bluestone. It is wearing a robe and a feather crown. It has a light face and a hint of unruliness in its eyes. There is a small cloth bag hanging on the waist, with his left hand behind his back and his right hand holding a scroll. Su Junming's face lit up. This stone statue was exactly the same as what Yu Yinggu said. It seems that this black hole is the place of inheritance. But if you go in, you will be completely blocked by the big toad. After hesitating for a while, Su Junming gritted his teeth and walked in. To be entrusted by others is to be loyal to others. Moreover, since Yu Yinggu can get half of the King Mu Shangyu and Gong and Dongjin's high-grade Bailing Xing, there is no reason why he can't get other good treasures with the help of the bronze mirror. He is not greedy for any spiritual treasures. He can just get himself a top-notch magic weapon. Su Junming walked very slowly. He was afraid that there were other dangers in the cave. Although there is no room for 2 tigers in one mountain, if there is 1 male and 1 female, he will give up. Fortunately, his worries did not come true. The cave was very wide, shaped like a funnel that was wide at the top and narrow at the bottom. Due to frequent scratches, the hole is round and smooth, as if it has been coated with a thick layer of paste. Except for a strong fishy smell, I didn't see any filth, but it was a little dry. After walking around, there was no treasure. It is said that natural spiritual creatures must be protected by strange beasts. There is the top quality white spirit apricot in the Kongming spirit snake, there is Diang grass in the cold flame bug, but why does this big toad have nothing? Although he was a little disappointed, Su Junming did not dare to stay long and continued walking along the cave. There were obvious signs of digging in the cave, and it became narrower as it went inward, and soon only one person could pass through. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 117. Chapter 117 The Test in the Heart of the Mountain. After walking around for about 3 minutes, the mountainside about half the size of a football field appeared in front of us. There is nothing in the middle of the mountain except for a large stone tablet that is 1 foot high, 6 feet wide and 1 foot thick. It is completely green and black. In front of the stone tablet is a lotus seat with a diameter of 4 feet. Following Gu Ying's instructions, Su Junming walked straight to the lotus seat and sat down cross-legged. As he sat down, green light lit up on the stone tablet, and lines of writing emerged. Now that I'm here, I'm destined to understand the emptiness and gain my inheritance. Aokiju. No, why is it the green wood technique and not the wooden shield technique? On the way here, Yu Yinggu told him that the first requirement was to understand the spells given on the stone tablet in the shortest possible time. What she understood at the beginning was the wooden shield technique, and the result was Su Junming here became the King Muju. Time was tight and there was no time to think too much. He quickly used the bronze mirror and began to comprehend the green wood technique. This is a wood spell with Yumu attribute. After being used, countless vines will be produced to entangle the opponent. As for how long it can be trapped, it depends on the caster's magic power and his understanding of wood-based Taoism. Generally speaking, this is a Taoist method in the innate stage. Not too strong, not too weak either. A quarter of an hour later, Su Junming opened his eyes, and a series of handprints appeared. Xianling obeys the order, King Mu divine technique. Countless cyan auras flashed, and a dozen vines as thick as wrists grew rapidly from the ground, wrapping tightly around the stone tablet. The stone tablet bloomed with green light and disappeared instantly, revealing a downward hole. Withdrawing the mana, the rattan also disappeared. Su Junming walked down the stone steps, and a stone room of about 50 square meters appeared in front of him. There is a stone table in the center of the stone room, and a gold book on it. Su Junming walked over and unfolded it, which was the first half of the Aoki Shangyuan Gong. Looking at the other half of the empty table, there was supposed to be a Bilingxian apricot sealed in a jade box, but now it was empty. There was a flash of blue light, and words appeared on the opposite wall. Half of the Aoki Shangyuan Gong and a pot of Bailing Immortal Apricot are reserved as rewards. If you continue, please come in. Boom. The stone wall is concave, revealing a road that slopes upward. Su Junming, who had already memorized half of the King Mu Shangyuan Gong from Yu Yinggu, put down the gold book and walked into the passage with his legs raised. After walking about 200 or 300 meters, we came to another mountainside. The same stone tablet, the same stone lotus. But the content is different. Jiamu divine stake. It's different from what Uncle Yu said. Even so, Su Junming did not dare to delay, and quickly understood with the help of the bronze mirror. There is only one chance. If you fail the test, you will be kicked out and there will never be a second chance. Jiamu divine stake, as the name suggests, is the use of Jiamu Qi, but the complexity is more than twice as strong as the Aokiju. This time Su Junming had the assistance of a bronze mirror, and it took him an hour to fully comprehend this spell. At the same time, the Aoki talisman in his dantian also broke through to 4 feet and entered the middle stage of the white fundamental talisman. Xianling obeys the order, Jiamu divine stake. The energy of Jiamu was so powerful that a large wooden pile as thick as a basin and 1 foot high appeared out of thin air, and crashed down with a bang. A dazzling cyan light flashed on the ground, erasing the impact of the Jiamu divine stake. However, the heavy Taoist rhyme showed the extraordinary nature of this wood-based Taoist method. Su Junming nodded with satisfaction. I don't know which one is stronger or weaker compared to the wooden pole technique. Boom. The stone tablet disappeared, and a downward hole was revealed. Su Junming, who had been waiting for this moment for a long time, flew down with expectation in his eyes. In the 50 square meter stone room, there was a solitary offering table, with a black wooden staff placed on the offering table. Is this the only one? Su Junming, who was doubtful, stretched out his hand to grab the wooden stick, and peered with his spiritual consciousness. A strong aura of armored wood instantly reflected into the sea of consciousness. Dongjin's top-quality armored wood material. Su Junming was inexplicably surprised. Such top-grade spiritual materials can be used to refine top-grade magical weapons. In today's world of spiritual practice where mysterious spiritual objects are hard to find, they are almost top-notch. After playing with it lovingly, he looked up at the stone wall. Cyan text appears one by one. You've got the appetizers. If you go in again, you'll lose your life before you reach the end. Dongjin's top-quality armored wooden staff is just an appetizer, So what's the reward behind it? Looking at the opened passage, Su Junming flew in with a wooden stick in hand. As for the warning on the cave wall, he saw it. However, with the bronze mirror he paid to increase his understanding, the test of understanding the skills was not a problem for him. But when he entered the third mountain, he was surprised. The belly of this mountain is more than 10 times as big as the two previous ones, comparable to 3 football fields, and it is also more than 10 feet high. The strange thing is that the ground in the middle of the mountain is extremely flat, with almost no fluctuations, not even dust. Seeing the stone lotus not far from him, Su Junming walked over, flew up, and sat down cross-legged. Rods of green light emerged from the lotus, and immediately after, the stone lotus slowly floated up and stopped after being about 8 or 9 feet above the ground. Buzz! A strange tremor sounded inexplicably. A green aura shone in Su Junming's surprised eyes. In the realm of Chu and Han, a standard Chinese chessboard appeared on the smooth entry ground. Each square is 10 meters apart, horizontally and vertically, and extremely neat. Su Junming is no stranger to chess. In my previous life, whether it was a park or a community, there were old men doing this everywhere. He also often plays with his grandfather. His chess skills are not top-notch, but at least he is not a bad chess player. Dong dong. Suddenly, dozens of wooden statues fell from the top of the mountain. The wooden image is half red and half black. At the front were 5 soldiers who were all in armor and holding spears, about 3 feet tall. Behind them are 2 women who are 3 feet tall and graceful, holding pipa in their arms. What does a woman have to do with a gun? He shook his head, unable to understand the thinking of the person behind this. In the last row, the 2 carts are wooden carvings of dragon heads and bodies, the 2 horses are horse heads and bodies, the 2 elephants are elephant heads and bodies, the 2 swordsmen are generals wearing armor and holding swords in both hands. The general in the middle is an emperor wearing a python robe. Just when Su Junming was inspecting the chess game, he heard a boom. The black man on the opposite side has the elephant. Yes. You are the master, you go first. Taking a deep breath, the bronze mirror reflected the clear sky, clearing away all distracting thoughts. Su Junming's consciousness moved the woman holding the pipa on the left, moved it to the elephant eye, and struck a blow. He's made a F***ck horse jump and noticed the pawn in his middle. Unable to take the lead, Su Junming also followed suit, and he's naturally chose his chariot. Su Junming moved the left cannon to the ribs, and the 2 cannons were close to each other. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 118. Chapter 118 Chess Showdown. The 2 sides went back and forth, and after a few back and forths, there was a bang, and the black chess rook smashed Su Junming's pawn into pieces. So this is how chess is eaten, I'll try it too. The cannon waiting for the opportunity roared, smashing the leader, becoming a general. The black chess piece had a soldier, and Su Junming used another cannon to flip over and smash the bishop on the right, becoming a general again. With a general on both sides, the elephant and she cannot fall down and will directly die. Su Junming breathed a sigh of relief, winning was not difficult. But just when he thought he had succeeded, he saw his cannon return to its original position and the shattered elephant restored itself. The opponent's rook no longer eats pawns, but directly jumps on the horse, showing off the leading pawn. Countless black lines hung from Su Junming's head. TM, are you still regretting your move? I feel MMP in my heart, but on other people's land, I have to tolerate being angry. Adjust your emotions and fight again. Slowly he discovered that as long as he caught the general by surprise, he would always regret his move and start over. Only by killing all his chess pieces can he finally be the general. Su Junming defeated the boss and finally cleared the place. After the veteran was crushed by himself, a ray of emerald light flew out from it, flew through the air, and fell into Su Junming's hands. Taking a closer look, a jade-colored jade bottle with a height of 1 foot, a bulging belly, a long neck, appeared in front of me. It's actually the rare Qingling jade. Su Junming felt happy after his spiritual consciousness sensed it. Qingling jade is a kind of jade formed by the accumulation of wood energy. It is divided into different grades according to the concentration of wood energy in it. The green jade used to make the jade purification bottle is a top-grade Dongzhen jade, and this jade purification bottle is a top-grade magical artifact of the 9-level treasure taboo. In addition, the sound of water in the jade purification bottle rippled. Obviously there was something more precious inside. But what it is exactly can only be known after practicing this jade purification bottle. Seeing that the stone cave that continued downwards was exposed on the ground in the center of the square, Su Junming ignored the ritual practice and put it in his magic bag. He picked up the green wooden staff, jumped off the lotus platform, and ran over. He originally thought that he would reach the middle of a mountain again within a short time, but he ran for a stick of incense and still didn't see the exit. Wrong. Su Junming suddenly became alert. The bronze mirror shadow in his pupils flashed, and the stone wall in front of him quickly disappeared, replaced by a series of French nets that shimmered with intense cyan brilliance. The dense legal net shrouded him in an airtight manner. What a powerful formation! This formation is almost several times stronger than the protective formation in Mega Shanfang City. Fortunately, there was still spiritual energy here, otherwise he would have suspected that the people behind this were not looking for successors, but were using their greed to kill all the monks who came here. Taking a deep breath, Su Junming sat down cross-legged. If he doesn't understand this formation, he can't even think of leaving. Fortunately, his current formation cultivation level is high enough, and it only took 1 day to break through the first layer of the formation. It's actually a one-dimensional formation. Su Junming frowned. He is best at the 4 symbols formation and Bagua formation, as well as the 3 talents and 5 elements formations, and has also dabbled in them a little. But I have never seen a 1 UN formation before. Trouble. But there is no other way. If you want to get out, you have to bite the bullet and continue to comprehend. After another 3 days, I finally understood the second level of formation prohibition. It was banned for 7 days after breaking through the 3rd level of formation, and it was banned for half a month after breaking through the 4th level. But there are layers upon layers behind it, and there are 9 levels of formation prohibitions. Each level of formation has different applications and is more complex. Especially the 5th level, which is no longer Dongzhen, but Dongxian level. If you want to understand it thoroughly, it will take twice as long. Even with the assistance of the bronze mirror, it would take several years, or even more than 10 years, to fully understand the entire formation. This has been too long. Su Junming has to rush to participate in the competition between the northern and southern sects of Mission Mountain in Changchun Valley to compete for the Millennium Vermilion Fruit. He really can't wait for such a long time. No matter what, let's try the Hu Tian technique first and see if we can knock it out. If it really doesn't work, then come and understand the formation. When he used the Hu Tian technique before, he always moved it to a place where his eyes could see it, rather than moving it randomly. If he got stuck in the ground and lost his way, it would be a big loss. But now, I can't care anymore. When the mana is activated, the body disappears instantly. Next moment, Su Junming's eyes lit up, and countless thick ancient trees came into view. Before he could recover from his surprise, his feet were in the air and his body fell instantly. Just when he was about to transport the magic power and activate the rope to bind the corpse, he discovered that at some point, the Danshan had become empty. Except for the bronze mirror, there was no trace of the existence of magic power at all. The talisman bag on the back and the talisman bag on the waist were also missing. Ouch! After falling, he squatted down and got up from the ground with a grin on his face. What the hell is this place? Why has my magic disappeared? Fortunately, the bronze mirror was still there. When my heart moved, the area within 10 feet in front of me became blurry. Fortunately the bronze mirror can still be used. But where is this place? Under the bronze mirror, these trees were real and not an illusion as he thought. Fortunately, although his magic power disappeared, his physical strength remained. Getting up from the ground, patting the soil on his buttocks, Su Junming found a big tree, used both feet to lift up 2 feet, grabbed the branches, turned over and climbed up. He looked up at the sky. A big sun hangs high in the sky, but if you look closely, you will find that there is no qi and yang energy in the sun, but pure fire energy. Did I fall into some kind of cave? I shouldn't. This forest sea is vast, and he, who has no magic power and cannot use the Tianmu talisman, cannot see the edge. But the aura here is so strong. I tried to transport and absorb it, but after entering the body, the spiritual energy seemed to disappear out of thin air, and I couldn't feel it at all. Strangeness. Jumping down from the tree, before he landed, a net suddenly appeared from the ground. Not good. Su Junming was startled. He straightened his waist and twisted around. His strong body moved him 3 feet sideways. As a result, the snare turned with his body and was caught in it at once. Caught, caught. Following the shouting, 4 burly, shirtless men ran out from the woods in the distance. Seeing Su Junming struggling, he was hit with a stick. Duan. Su Jun rolled his eyes in understanding and fell to the ground. There are only 2 words left in my mind. It's over. Third brother, don't beat me to death. We still need to take people back to report to the master. Brother, don't worry. This kid is very strong. Don't hit him harshly, for fear that he will be dishonest. Hearing this, Su Junming couldn't bear it anymore and fainted completely. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 119. Chapter 119 Hejiazhuang. I don't know how long it took before Su Junming slowly woke up. Where is this? Su Junming was filled with doubts as he looked at the splendid window curtains, hanging tassels and carved bed that exuded luxury. He remembered being knocked unconscious. Thinking of this, he subconsciously touched the back of his head, and felt a stinging pain instantly. Hiss. Grinning. Don't let me know who that bastard is. Su Junming was angry. Everyone has been caught and beaten so hard. If it weren't for his physical strength, he would have been shot. With a squeak sound, the door opened, and a little maid with a double bun, big eyes, and wearing green clothes walked in. Seeing Su Junming sitting up, a trace of joy appeared on his round face. Master, are you awake? Who are you? Where is this place? My name is Kui'er, and this is Hejiazhuang. Hejiazhuang? What is Hejiazhuang? He, the young master's question is really strange. Hejiazhuang is Hejiazhuang. Ah, I almost forgot. The lady said that when the young master wakes up, she should be notified as soon as possible. With that said, Kui'er ran out in a hurry. Su Junming looked at her back and silently moved the bronze mirror. The room became blurred, and Kui'er's body turned into a ball of dark blue energy. Ghost? No, there is no resentment, just a soul. Jumped off the bed, opened the door and came out. In front of him was a small courtyard with flowers in full bloom and an air of elegance. What kind of place is Hejiazhuang? Just when he was doubtful, the courtyard door opened, Kui'er left and returned, and with him came a young woman wearing a white gauze dress, a white bow on her head, with sideburns hanging down her shoulders. Su Junming had seen countless beauties in his previous life, but when he saw this woman's face, he couldn't help but be amazed. Miss, look. Kuier pointed at Su Junming, and the woman in white smiled slightly when she saw him, and walked over with gentle steps. Before anyone arrived, a light and elegant fragrance had already arrived with the wind. He came to 3 feet in front of Su Junming, bowed and saluted. The little girl He Fenji has met the young master. See you, Su Junming. After practicing Taoism for many years, he still can't walk without seeing a woman. Just as he was about to speak, someone else walked in. The leader was a middle-aged man wearing brocade clothes with 3 long beards hanging down from his chin, followed by several servants. Father! Master! He Fenji and Kuier greeted the visitors. The middle-aged man smiled and nodded at them first, then quickly turned his eyes to Su Junming. If we go to Taekong again, I don't know the name of the strong man. Su Junming has met Yuan Y. Being in a strange place, surrounded by souls, Su Junming, who had lost all his magic power, did not dare to be presumptuous. The servants were rude and neglected Zhuangshi Su. I apologize to you on their behalf. Feeling the pain on the back of his head, Su Junming twitched the corner of his mouth. This was the first time in his 2 lifetimes that he had been knocked unconscious with a stick and dragged away. Nothing. Does a strong man ever marry a wife? He Taekong suddenly asked after looking him up and down. I have been a monk since I was a child and have no wife. If you don't give up, strong man, how about I marry my little girl to you? Su Junming staggered and almost fell. This is too unexpected. Oh, daddy. Over there, He Fenji blushed, cooed, glanced at Su Junming charmingly, turned around and ran out. This, He Yuan Y, since ancient times, marriage has been ordered by the parents and the matchmaker. When it comes to marrying a wife, you have to ask the family kindness before agreeing. Afraid of being beaten again after refusing, Su Junming had no choice but to hold off. It would be great if there was such a good thing in my previous life. Marrying a white, rich, and beautiful woman, and then saving 20 years of hard work, is the dream of many young losers. Haha, my nephew has just arrived. Our Hejiazhuang is a paradise. It's easy to get in, but hard to get out. My parents ordered me to be a matchmaker, so I can skip these common etiquette. A strong man turns into a good nephew, how much he hates to marry. May I ask, outsider, is it possible that no one has ever gone out here? As far as I can remember, no one has ever left the forest outside Hejiazhuang. Su Junming's pupils shrank, he didn't want to be trapped here forever. In that case, who will be the director of Hejiazhuang? A snake cannot survive without a head. No matter how small a village is, there must be someone to manage it, otherwise it will be in chaos. And this manager often knows the situation of the village best. With no clue, Su Junming tried to find clues on his own. He Taekong showed respect on his face and cupped his hands towards the south. Hejiazhuang is naturally managed by the village chief. Su Junming's eyes lit up. Judging from his demeanor, this village chief is obviously unusual. He Yuan is not a member of the imperial family, but I admire her for her beauty and beauty. However, Jia Si has repeatedly told her that if she wants to marry a wife, she must obtain her consent, otherwise it will be unfilial. So let me search for a few more days. If it really happens, if you don't go, how about getting married to your beloved? Hearing what he said, He Taekong couldn't say much. After all, the crime of unfilial piety was too big. And he didn't believe that no one had been able to leave Hejiazhuang for thousands of years, and Su Junming would be the only exception. Since my nephew has said so, I can't stop him anymore. Afu, Ashao. 2 burly men stepped forward. Master. You two will follow Mr. Su, saddle up and mount up, don't neglect it. Yes. Su Junming is not stupid. For these 2 big men, helping is the second most important thing, and monitoring him is more important. Pretending not to know, Su Junming walked out of the yard after cupping his hands. Along a flower corridor, around the front yard, and out of his house. Selling cooking cakes, freshly baked cooking cakes. Look, look, freshly beaten tofu curd. Sir, would you like a bowl? Selling shoes, fine milfeuille soles. Looking at the bustling market in front of him, Su Junming was silent for a long time. In his eyes, all these people who come and go are actually souls. But Four Eyes once taught him that ordinary people's souls are very fragile and cannot withstand yang qi and fire. Only by absorbing yin qi and becoming a ghost can they become strong. But these people don't seem to feel that they are souls at all, and their words and actions are no different from living people. And his expression is flexible, and he doesn't look like a puppet whose consciousness is being manipulated. What the hell is this place? Uncle, the village chief lives over there. Ah Fu pointed to the direction. Su Junming nodded and walked along the street to the south. There are quaint streets along the way, with rows of residential buildings on both sides. People walking on the street are neatly dressed, with smiles on their faces, and they look like they are wealthy. Uncle, we're here, right there. In fact, Su Junming also saw a courtyard on the east side of the street without pointing. Compared with other courtyards that are closely together, this courtyard is surrounded by a dense bamboo forest, with only the green tile-covered roof exposed inside. The layout of finding tranquility in the hustle and bustle is extraordinary in itself, and Su Junming noticed it at a glance. Walking forward, there is a path in the bamboo forest that only allows two people to pass. The path is paved with stone slabs of varying sizes. Due to the passage of time, a layer of moss has grown on them, making them look a bit mottled. Walking on the stone path into the bamboo forest, after walking 5 meters, a wooden bridge appeared in front of you. A small stream flows under the wooden bridge. Koi fish chase each other in the stream and disappear into the bamboo forest. What an elegant place! With a secret praise, Su Junming crossed the stone bridge and faced a bamboo gate with a thatched roof. On the lintel of the door, there is a plaque made of rough wood, with the 3 characters Weoju in regular script on it. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 120. Chapter 120. The song is ready. Su Junming stepped forward and opened the door, saying loudly. As a junior, I came to Su Junming to pay homage to my seniors. I hope you can meet me. Come in. A clear voice came from inside. Su Junming pushed open the bamboo door and was about to go in when he suddenly stopped and turned around to give instructions. You two stay here. Ah Fu and Ah Shao looked at each other and nodded. They guarded the door and were not afraid that the new uncle would escape. Su Junming went in and closed the door. In the center of the flowery yard, an old apricot with lush branches was the most eye-catching. Under the apricot tree, a middle-aged scholar in feathers and a high crown was sitting cross-legged with a chessboard in front of him. Seeing his appearance, Su Junming was shocked. The image of this person was the same as the stone statue he saw at the entrance of the giant clam cave. Under the bronze mirror, the green energy in this man's body soared to the sky, and 3 feet above his head, it condensed into a big green tree that was 3 feet and 9 feet high. The big tree shines with green light, exuding a strong pressure. So strong. Su Junming was shocked. He has never felt such strong pressure, dozens of times stronger than Mission Supreme Elder Qian Dinglin. Monk Nascent Soul. Only Yuanying monks have such powerful pressure. However, he also found that although the coercion of this middle-aged scholar was strong, it was a bit frivolous. Come over. Seeing him waving, Su Junming felt extremely vigilant and walked over quickly. Senior. Snapped. The middle-aged scholar made a move, and the black chess piece captured the red chess piece's knight. After nodding with satisfaction, he turned his face. Your chess skills are good. Su Junming discovered early on that the chessboard he had played was the same chess game he had played. Thank you for your appreciation, senior. Sit. He nodded and sat down on the futon opposite. Stay with me for another round. At this time, Su Junming naturally did not dare to refuse. The two of them played one game after another. At this moment, Su Junming felt more pressure than before in the heart of the mountain. From the frequent regrets in the past, it can be seen that this master is an eccentric character. If he wins and makes him unhappy, he will be no different than if he loses. But if he loses, he won't be willing to miss the opportunity to leave. In that case, let's let it be a draw. But sometimes, a draw is more difficult than a win. Fortunately, with the help of the bronze mirror, it turned out as he wished. Is the daughter of the He family beautiful? The middle-aged scholar suddenly asked. The beauty of the sky and the beauty of the country captivate the country. In that case, why not stay and be someone else's son-in-law? You know, how many talented people and dignitaries want to have such a woman as their wife but can't. No matter how beautiful you are, you can't survive the 7-year itch. I would trade my life's path for 7 years to work together, but a wise man would not do it. The 7-year itch? This word is so new. However, as the world is in the end of the Dharma, hundreds of years of practicing Taoism will inevitably end up with a pile of lois. In this case, why not have a loving wife and concubine and be happy for the rest of your life? Senior, have you heard of good song? After thinking for a moment, he shook his head. Everyone in the world knows that gods are good, but they will never forget their fame. Where are the ancient and modern generals and ministers now? The graves are piled with grass. Everyone knows that gods are good, but gold and silver cannot be forgotten. In the end, I only regret that there won't be many people together, and when the time comes, my eyes will close. Everyone in the world knows that gods are good, but only my beloved wife can never forget them. I express my gratitude to you on your birthday, but you will go with others after your death. Everyone in the world knows that gods are good, only their children and grandchildren will never forget them. There have been many infatuated parents since ancient times, but who has ever seen filial children and grandchildren? After listening to this, the middle-aged scholar was stunned for a long time. Although this poem is not very particular about its rhyme, simplicity, and antithesis, it contains profound philosophy of life. It contains elegance in its vulgarity. It must have been written by a wise and moral person. Su Junming nodded. The person who sang this song was a lame Taoist in the market. It's a pity that the younger generation couldn't catch up and missed it. Even now, thinking about it, I still feel it is a pity. How Ge is the essence of Cao Swekin's dream of red mansions, and Su Junming remembers it the most. If you can discuss Tao with this person, it will be a great pleasure in life, the middle-aged scholar nodded. He looked at the chess game. Your chess skills are much better than mine. The fact that you came all the way here shows that you have amazing understanding. The fact that you can reject a beauty but not accept it shows that you have a profound Taoism. You are indeed a rare seed of Taoism. Thank you for the compliment, senior. The middle-aged scholar smiled faintly. Do you know why I set up so many tests? Senior, please clarify your doubts. 800 years ago, I entered the Tao with King Mua, practiced hard for 300 years, and finally entered the realm of Yuanying. Unfortunately, the heavenly way in this world has ended, and the spiritual energy has declined. Although I have understood the realm of Yuan Shen, I am finally trapped in the realm of Yuanying due to lack of spiritual energy. Unable to advance even an inch. The intense calamity, but finally ended in defeat. If it weren't for this mirage dragon diagram to save a trace of the soul, it would almost be wiped out from the world. After 200 years, with the help of the mirage dragon chart, I finally managed to repair my 3 souls and 7 souls, and I was able to reincarnate. But if I want to enter the path again, I need someone to guide me. I look down upon ordinary ascetics. Only those who pass various tests and come to me will be my future teachers. I thought I was selecting a successor, but now I found out that I was selecting a master. Senior has great magical power and unparalleled talent. I am afraid that I will mislead my disciples. I believe in my own vision." After a pause, he looked solemn and said, "Are you willing?" How could Su Junming say he was unwilling at this time? Since the seniors like it, the juniors should do their best. The middle-aged scholar nodded, stood up and knelt down on his knees. Su Junming's heart moved, but he sat cross-legged without getting up. "Master, come again," disciple Chen Lin bows down. After 3 kowtows, Chen Lin turned over his hand, and something the size of a basketball appeared in his right palm, with an uneven surface, like a seed. In the left palm is a golden book. "This is the apprenticeship ceremony. I hope my mentor will accept it." Su Junming reached out and took it. What is written in the golden book is exactly the purpose of his trip. The whole article King Mu Shangyu and Gong, as well as Chen Lin's insights on practice. What is this? It was the first time that Su Junming encountered the bronze mirror that could not be seen through. The disciple doesn't know either. "By chance, I found this thing in the middle of a mountain in Alao Mountain. At that time, I saw that it sucked up the spiritual energy of the mountain, so I knew it was a treasure. I followed the disciple for 500 years and sucked in the green wood for another 500 years. Aura, it didn't die out until January ago." The disciple faintly sensed an astonishing vitality from it. "I expected it to be good. It should be a rare and high-quality spiritual root." "Spiritual roots," Su Junming was delighted. Chen Lin nodded. "As for what the spiritual root is, I don't know. I originally wanted to wait for it to gather enough spiritual energy and take root, but now that my reincarnation is imminent, I will dedicate this thing to my master for cultivation." Su Junming nodded, took the black seed in his hand and played with it, feeling a little expectant in his heart.